What's up, YouTube? Team Movies here with the new epic show, The Godfather of Harlem, premiering tomorrow. Since the series stars the always great Forrest Whitaker, I decided to go ahead and do my 10 favorite Forrest Whitaker movies because Forrest Whitaker's the man. You know, he's been nominated for an Oscar before. He's been in some the guy's been in some really cool, high-profile stuff. I'm Battlefield Earth, yeah, but Forrest Whitaker is still the man. So with that being said, here are my top 10 favorite Forrest Whitaker movies. Alright. Wait till this guy goes. Alright. Coming in at number 10, I'm going with the film Ghost Dog, The Way of the Samurai. Directed by the always great Jim Jarmusch. You even got Wu-Tang Clan dude, RZA's in this. I mean, in the film, Forrest Whitaker plays a contract killer named Ghost Dog, who's like this master of his trade, and like he pretty much he could really whirl, you know, like a he pretty much could whirl like a gun at the warp of speed and moves it like really well, like a phantom. And so like here he's also a lord to this small time mobster named Louis, played by John Thomas, and you know he has to go track down these killers and all. I mean, Ghost Dog, Jim Jarmusch, he's a cool director. You know, he just did that zombie comedy Dead Don't Die, which I kind of got a kick out of Dead Don't Die. Yeah, I mean, RZA, like I love RZA in this. He was great, right? And you know, I kind of want to see a sequel to this too. I mean, I know Jim Jarmusch has been talking about doing a sequel to Ghost Dog, but never really came to fruition. But Ghost Dog is definitely one of Forrest Whitaker's most like memorable roles. He is great at this, and you know he was such a badass in this movie too. I mean, the way like the way he killed people in this is insane. I mean, if you guys never really seen Ghost Dog by now, give it a go. And Jim Jarmusch, please give us a sequel. I'd love to see Forrest Whitaker back as this role again. All right. Coming in at number 8, I'm going with The Great Debater, which is directed by Denzel Washington. Now, in it, Denzel Washington plays this poet and professor named Melvin B. Tolson, and he ends up like he pretty much teaches this predominantly Black Wiley college in 1935's Texas, and he decides to like start a pretty much like a debate team. And like he pretty much at first like he ends up also butting head with like one of the fathers in this, played by Whitaker, who's like one of his like best debaters. And the cool thing is one of Whitaker's one of Washington's students in this movie is played by actor Denzel Whitaker, who is actually the son of Forrest Whitaker, and you know he actually named his like Forrest Whitaker and Denzel Washington. Those have been friends for years, so Forrest Whitaker actually decided to name his son after Denzel, which I always found to be cool. And The Great Debaters, it's based on a true story, and it's actually one of Denzel's most underrated performances. I thought Denzel in this was great. You also, I mean, obviously it's Denzel. Like even the movie was terrible, he'll still be great in that. But also, Journey Smollett Bell was in this. You also had Nate Parker, Jermaine Williams, the late John Hurt was in this. I mean, Great Debaters is definitely one of Denzel's like most underappreciated roles, and like his back to back scenes with Forrest Whitaker was great. Forrest Whitaker was great in this show. I mean, yeah, it's a pretty cool true story film. I mean, if you guys never seen The Great Debaters by now, give Great Debaters a go. It's a really good one. Coming in at number 8 is going to be Black Nativity. Now, this movie is directed by Casey Lemons, who also is directing the upcoming Harriet Tubman movie, Harriet, which looks fantastic, by the way. And in it, you got this actor named Jacob Lamar, who plays this character named Langston, who's this streetwise teen from Baltimore. He ends up being raised by his single mother, and he journeys to New York City to spend a Christmas holiday with his grandparents, who's this like Reverend named Cornell, played by Whitaker, and his wife, played by named Aretha Cobbs, played by Angela Bassett. And you also got you even got Tyrese Gibson, who plays Langston's dad. You also got Jennifer Hudson in this. I mean, yeah, Black Nativity is such a great film. It had some great music. I mean, who knew that Forrest Whitaker could sing as great as he did? Like, Forrest Whitaker was great in this. And he also had great romantic chemistry with Angela Bassett. You know, those two have worked together loads of times, so it's no shock that they had good chemistry for one another. And, you know, I also quite always like and I always like the music of Black Nativity. And, you know, Jacob Lamar, that dude could sing, by the way. I mean, he really busts out tuned well in this. I mean, if you guys never really seen Black Nativity by now, it's a really great one. It's a great Christmas music-based film. It's a film about, it is a film about family and all that. Like, it's a great coming-of-age tale. Definitely give Black Nativity a go. You definitely won't be disappointed. All right. Now, coming in at number 7 is actually more of a his directing film. He was not even in the movie either. My number 7 pick is going to be the film. Is going to be Waiting to Exhale. You've got Whitney Houston, Angela Bassett. You know, speaking of Angela Bassett, Loretta Devine, Wendell Pierce, Mekhi Williamson, Dennis Haysbert. I mean, this is really a film about relationships. It's a film about a female friendship. You know, it is based on it is also based on a novel by Terry McMillan. I mean, Waiting to Exhale is such a really good movie. You know, it's very relatable at times. The performances that are given by Whitney Houston, by Bassett, are all really great. Forrest Whitaker did a great job at directing. And, I mean, I kind of wish Forrest Whitaker directs more. He's actually not that bad of a director. And Waiting to Exhale really showed it. I mean, if you guys never really had a chance to check out Waiting to Exhale yet, it's a really good one. Alright, coming in at number 6. I'm going with Panic Room. Now, Forrest Whitaker plays like the bad guy in this. Who him and these other two ends up breaking into this single mother's apartment, and it's pretty much like ends up becoming a game of cat and mouse. You also got Jared Leto and Dwight Yoakam, I think it was, playing like pretty much playing Whitaker's partners in this. Yeah, you also had Jodie Foster as the lead. You had Kristen Stewart was in this, who played Foster's daughter. Panic, and in it, you know, Jodie Foster and Kristen Stewart plays this mother and daughter, who ends up being they end up getting their house broken into, and so they end up like hiding out in a panic room away from Forrest Whitaker's characters and all. I mean, Panic Room, you know, it is also directed by David Fincher, who this is definitely one of David Fincher's coolest work. He did a great job with this movie. The movie was also very intense at time. Had great performances by a young Kristen Stewart, by Jodie Foster. You know, great cat and mouse game. If you guys never seen Panic Room by now, it's a really good one. All right. All right, coming in at number 5, I'm going with Steven Soderbergh's film. Not Soderbergh. Joe Schumacher, I meant to say. Why did I get Joe Schumacher and Soderbergh mixed up? Anyway, my number 5 is going to be Phonebook. Phonebook is such a great movie. I mean, you've got You got Colin Farrell as this character named Stu, who's pretty much being targeted by the sniper played by Kiefer Sutherland, and Kiefer Sutherland's character does for one, he doesn't even hardly have a name in this too. That was cool there. But he also ends up really he's a sniper who ends up ends up killing people and lots of people on the in New York City think that it's Stu that was responsible. And you got Forrest Whitaker who plays the detective here, who's trying to talk Stu out of Stu out of out of the phone booth and all that. I mean, it's a movie that takes where Colin Farrell plays a character who is mainly stuck in a phone booth throughout the whole movie. I mean, talk about great acting right there. And Forrest Whitaker as the detective was great. I mean, you also had Rhoda Mitchell was in this, Katie Holmes, Richard T. Jones, Joe Schumacher did a great job at this. I mean, it's you don't see phone booths anymore, by the way. But Phone Booth is such a great movie. It's such a great thrill ride. The movie will pretty much leave you guessing from beginning to end. I mean, it's such a great one. If you guys haven't seen Phone Booth by now, give it a go. I think you'll like it. Alright, coming in at number 4 is Going to the Crying Game. Now, this is a film that scored an Oscar nomination, and the the Crying Game, it's such a great one. It is directed by Neil Jordan, who also gave us interview with the Vampire Noir, and you got this. And it's pretty much about this Irish Republican named army member named Fergus, played by Stephen Rea, who ends up forming this bond with Jodie, played by Forrest Whitaker, and he ends up kidnapping a British soldier into custody, and so you also got Jude, played by Miranda Richardson, and Adrian Dammer as these IRA members, who's pretty much trying to take find the find the British soldier and all, and trying to take Bree and Whitaker's characters down. The Crying Game is such a great one. It's a really cool crime drama. Great performances by Whitaker, by Rhea. Miranda Richardson was great in this. This movie will also leave you guessing from beginning to end.
I'm standing outside of my
Also part of a cat and mouse film. I mean, if you guys never seen The Crying Game by now, it's a really great one. And Neil Jordan, he's the man. So another really good directing film by him. I mean, Neil Jordan, he's directed some really great stuff. All right, coming in at number 3 is going to be Clint Eastwood's movie Bird. Now, the film is about the life of this saxophonist named Charlie Parker, played by Forrest Whitaker, and it pretty much talks about his life from his music to his death of a heroin overdose at the age of 34, and it also talks about his relationship with his wife, played by Diane Bernara and all. You also had Keith David was also in this. You had Bill Cobbs. Great cast was in this, and it has. It does have some really great music, and Forrest Whitaker, he played the saxophone really well. I mean, he really played the role of Charlie Parker very well too. I mean, the movie had some really great score behind it. Clint Eastwood did a really great job at directing. If you guys never seen Bird by now, give Bird a go. It's another Forrest Whitaker win. All right. My number 2 favorite Forrest Whitaker movie goes to The Last King of Scotland. Now, this movie stars James McAvoy as this Scottish doctor named Nicholas Garrigan, who ends up becoming this personal physician and close confidant of dictator Adi Amin, played by Whitaker. And I got to double check. I think Forrest Whitaker won his Oscar for this, if I'm not mistaken. Or I think he was just nominated. I got to double check that. But Yeah, this movie also scored an Oscar nomination for Best Picture. That I definitely remember of. You also had Kerry Washington, Gillian Anderson was in this. It was directed by Kevin McDonough. Really great movie. Great performances by Whitaker. I mean, I didn't know much about the story before I went to see this movie, but it's still a really great one. I mean, I didn't really see it in theaters or anything. I only saw when it got released on like on TV. But it's still a great one. If you guys never seen The Last King of Scotland, it's definitely one of Whitaker's better performances in years. I mean, such a really good one. All right, now Forrest Whitaker's best work, like best film of all time, is actually one of his modern ones, and that will be the film The Butler. I think this is his best work. Forrest Whitaker in as the role of Cecile Gaines, who ends up playing, who's like the butler to like lots of presidents, including Lyndon B. Johnson. He was a butler to JFK. He was a butler to Richard Nixon. He was a butler to Ronald Reagan. I mean, yeah, he's. You also had Oprah Winfrey, who played Forrest Whitaker's wife in this. She was pretty good. Shows how good of an actress Oprah Winfrey could be. And the performance, like this movie had a really great cast. Like you had people like Robin Williams played Dwight Eisenhower. You had Liam Schreiber as Lyndon B. Johnson. You had James Marsden as a JFK. John Cusack was Richard Nixon. Alan Rickman was Ronald Reagan. You also had other people like you had Alex Pettyfer, Lenny Kravitz, Cuba Gooding Jr., Terrence Howard. David Oyelowo played Forrest Whitaker's son in this. Minka Kelly played Jackie O. Really great performances, great storyline. I really got invested in this movie from beginning to end. Anyway, anyway, yeah, and not to mention the movie was also directed. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, the movie was also directed by Lee Daniels, who also gave us stuff like Empire, Star, and loads of other great stuff. I mean, Lee Daniels, man. But yeah, Butler is such a really great movie. I mean, it got a little controversy when it got released and all, but still a really good one. And I gotta double check, but I don't even think Forrest Whitaker got an Oscar nomination for this. I gotta double check that, but yeah, if he didn't, he definitely deserved one. I mean, not even an Oscar nomination. I think he even deserved to win this because he was actually, I've seen lots of great performances. The movie got released in 2013, and I saw so many great performances. Forrest Whitaker in The Butler, I think, was the best out of all of them. He really played this character well. And yeah, if you guys never seen The Butler, which is actually titled Lee Daniels The Butler, but I love Lee Daniels and all, but I'm just calling him regular Butler. But yeah, The Butler, or I guess as they said, Lee Daniels The Butler is a really great one. Alright, that's pretty much it. Let me do the quick rundown. 10, Ghost Dog. 9, The Great Debaters. 8, Black Nativity. 7, Waiting to Exhale. 6, Panic Room. 5, Phonebook. 4, The Crying Game. 3, Bird. 2, Last King of Scotland. And 1, The Butler. Now, Forrest Whitaker has been in so much other stuff over the years. Let me hurry this up because my computer's about to die. Alright. A few other Forrest Whitaker movies he was in. He was in Black Panther, which they kind of wasted him in Black Panther. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I literally always keep forgetting he was in Black Panther, but he played like the guard of Wakanda. He was also in Rogue One, which I like Rogue One, but I'm not gonna lie. Forrest Whitaker's performance in that was not really that great. And they kind of wasted him in that shit. He was in Arrival. I always keep forgetting he was in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. That was like one of his earliest roles. I always keep forgetting that. He was also in Taken 3. He was in. Repo Man. He was in, which sucked. Vantage Point, which I got a kick out of Vantage Point. Good Morning Vietnam, which also had Robin Williams in it. He was also in The Color of Money, Southpaw with Jake Gyllenhaal. He was also in Battlefield Earth, which, yeah, Battlefield Earth is one of the worst motion pictures of all time. How did they get Forrest Whitaker? Forrest Whitaker and starring in that is beyond me. But, hey, anything for money, I guess. He also directed the movie First Daughter. He also did Phenomenon with John Travolta. He did Where the Wild Things Are, The Last Stand with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He did Dope, Our Family Wedding. He was in Fruitvale Station, Out of the Furnace. Bloodsport with Jean-Claude Van Damme. What else was he was in Species. Stakeout he was in. Powder Blue with Jessica Biel. Jason Lyric. He was in Evan Money. Forrest Whitaker is the man. Yeah, Forrest Whitaker has been in some really great stuff. But let me just go ahead and leave it to you guys. What are some of your favorite Forrest Whitaker movies? Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This here is Team Movie signing off.